Hey folks, I don't know what time it is. What is this? It's about 4 a.m. Well, 3:34 a.m. Just had one of those nights. Um, it's technically the fourth day, and I just thought to make this video. Just really having some hard time sleeping, and just thoughts going through my head. What's been happening lately? Not much. Just school. I have an exam next week, and I'm trying to get ready for that. And then I have just a whole ton of assignments and work and that sort of deal. It's like you gotta get this stuff done even if you're not feeling like it, even if you're feeling down, because it's all preparation for the exam. And if you um, don't do the work and then figure out what you're not getting and then go get the help for it, you can end up in a really bad spot really quickly. And really don't want to repeat of last semester, so just struggling with that. Um, this last day, day 3, and even like day 2, day 1, day 2, day 3, while I have not relapsed, I will admit that I have been kind of teasing myself going on Reddit and kind of skimming some shady material, let's just put it that way. Um, Mostly out of boredom. But that, and then like some of that lucid dreaming stuff on YouTube. Been listening to that. 50% of that would be like me just trying to get sleep. Other 50%, has been the addiction side, the that kind of thinking. But I think what's really been hitting me, like at least today and this night, has been just rehashing stuff from the past. And like I woke up, or I wasn't really asleep actually, because I went running earlier and it did help, to a certain extent. I don't know if you can see, but I cried a bit. It's not really my proudest moments, but um, what happened that triggered it? Oh, the girlfriend was saying that, oh, she's missing me, and I said I missed her, but I basically said, let's be patient, I'm gonna work towards XYZ things, and hopefully get to see you soon, and that sort of thing. And like she all got angry at me, and it's this whole sort of repeat of past behaviors, and just really made me feel down because I chose integrity over like what I might have considered happiness. Um, I mean, it's like I could honestly say that I have love for her, but she's the kind of girl who, when things are good with her, they're great, but when they're not, it's not like it's just, okay, it's like it's horrible, or it's, she can get very emotionally abusive, I'd say. My sister actually doesn't like her because of how she's treated me in the past. Um, but it's like I was thinking about just like the fact that I chose to stay with her, and then thinking about this other girl, and just the way my mind works so often is that I think about certain specific moments. And I think with the last time I ever talked to that girl, and how she was looking at me with those like the look of interest, desire, perhaps even like actual like infatuation or so. And I brushed her off because of the things that were happening at that point in time, and partially because of my beliefs. And it's like I had failed classes the previous semester, been put on probation. I was just feeling like, I was feeling like a piece of crap basically. And I wasn't really understanding like why any girl would be interested in me. And I was also obviously going through crap with the girlfriend because it's this whole deal with like, I mean, it's kind of like she does love me, but it's like, from her female perspective, it's almost like she sees me as her way out, that, if we got married, she could get out of her parents' home and away from them, and I'd be like her savior. And I suppose she's somewhat fearful of being put under pressure by her folks to get married, and her mom asks about me and asks about her and where we're at, and it's like if I fail a semester I get put behind by a year, and that pushes the graduation date back that much further. And it was like it was amplifying how bad I felt about myself, and so that led to a breakup. And I was single for about a month and a half, but by that point in time, which is right around the time that my grandfather passed away, but by that time, the other girl was like, history basically. And I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. That's the immediate thing that would make me want a PMO. Because I saw his video. This guy was talking. He was trying to talk about Nofap in a kind of humorous sense, but um, how like some people fap because they just have that desire to fap or whatever. They're inspired or whatever, and it's just once in a while. And then there's like the desperation fapping, which is like escaping from whatever crap is there in your life that makes you feel really bad. And in the immediate sense, that's the stuff that would make me want to fap, because it would fill that emptiness, and I could fantasize. I could pretend like I'd gone and I had done something that very much has been hard for me um, to do. Partially because of my morals, but partially because of like ingrained experiences. For one thing, I'm used to being emotionally abused by women. I've had a very dysfunctional relationship with my mother. I've had a very dysfunctional relationship with my sister. And I've been used to being the one who either gets dumped or abandoned, basically, by the girls I like. And, threatened with that sort of stuff, abandonment, because they all seem to have the options, and I'm the one who has to try to stick around and hold on to them because I don't have any options. And the moment that I have options, like, I don't know what the heck to do with it, I would feel bad if I used my options because that feels wrong to me, among other things. And, I just remember that look in her eyes, that girl, and just like I had that moment there. And it's like over the course of my life, I've kind of tried to figure out like, people ask you like, what's your dream girl like? What does she look like? What's your background? Those sort of things. And for the longest time, my girlfriend has been, the closest I've ever thought I could get to that. But then I meet this girl, and I think because of beliefs that I've had about the world and about just myself, and you know, um, like, the likelihood that I'll ever meet that kind of girl is, next to zilch, or if I do meet her, she'll be taken, which was always the case with the girls that I knew, who studied math, science, engineering, that sort of deal, back in San Diego, was that they already had boyfriends. And those boyfriends, as it turns out, were already graduated. They already had their degrees. They, they were working as engineers, They had things going for them. And I would always be that guy that, almost like the beta male orbiter, and having to try to resist the temptation to just stick around. Maybe, cross my fingers, hoping that for some odd reason they'll break up, which would never happen because obviously that guy was way higher in the hierarchy than I was. So why the heck would that girl break up, and then try to get with a guy like me, Um, because worst comes to worst, if she drops out of engineering school, whoever she would be in that situation, she at least fall back on her engineer husband slash boyfriend, you know. Um, but what would she have with me? And so I meet this girl. Of course, one of the big things that got her interested in me was I already have a girlfriend who's from Morocco, and it's kind of like she was almost trying to snag me away from my girlfriend. And my whole sort of moral repugnance or, you know, prideful integrity kicked in, and that was one of those things that really sabotaged it. And of course, at the time, I got this sort of like ego boost from rejecting her, you know. Because it was almost like turning the tables on women in general, being able to like feel like the prideful moralist, oh, I don't do that, I'm better than that, and in the moment, that kind of stuff feels good, but in the long run, you realize that it wasn't the right decision, and it's like in a perfect world, I would be with both of them, I would, I would be like an old Testament patriarch, back in those days when a man having 2 wives or 3 wives wasn't scandalous or bad. It wasn't like, oh, you're a bigamist, that sort of thing. But those are some of my underlying issues I'm encountering, and I definitely know any sort of going near PMO, even if it's like a substitute, even if it's like not as strong, even if it's not, oh, it's a relapse or whatever, which I'm not counting him as, that obviously amplifies it and makes it even more present. And I also know that facing anxiety from feeling that I'm where I'm at right now, just that's another major cause, because the way things start off, a semester like this where you're going full time is such that it starts off slow and it kind of builds up, and then it gets to a point where you have pretty much back-to-back exams. Like I have one on the 28th this month, then I think it's like the 4th, and then the 5th there's an exam. There's two like back-to-back, and it's kind of like this stuff is the stuff that I need the least, and I'm seriously considering just not talking to the current girlfriend for at least a few days. Maybe that'll put her in her place, that she'll start, worrying, oh, I pushed him too far, he doesn't want to talk to me, what's going on here, that sort of thing. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, it's almost like the moments where I feel when I'm in one of these situations where I've had enough, it's like, I have to ask myself, like, what are my options, And I remember what it was like when I was single. And while there was a certain freedom to it, and there was a certain like character building, nature to it, I realized I'm one of those guys in many ways, and that maybe, it's something I can change, maybe it's something I can't change, but being in a relationship gives me like purpose. It's kind of like, well, this girlfriend could turn into my wife if only I take care of X, Y, and Z things in life. And it gives me motivation and drive. And it also gives me the kind of hope that, for instance, in relation to Nofap and this whole PMO addiction, internet addiction, social media addiction, it's like it pulls me away from that. It gives me a reason to quit. even at the same time that I think that if I did end up single again, I wouldn't have a reason to have a Facebook. I would definitely have a YouTube channel. I would be uploading onto there, but you know, the majority of my social media is like usage is basically Facebook and YouTube, and so it would cut it in half at the very least, you know. Um, and with that would go internet usage, you know, probably in half or so. Um, but it's like I don't have options now. You know, my only other option is being single, and that brought with it a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, loneliness, bitterness, just, and that is one of the main things that caused like the PMO addiction to take off, because I didn't have any real hope. I didn't see myself finding that soulmate and getting married and doing all those things. So I was able in so many ways to justify being a PMO addict because, oh, this is as good as it's gonna get, you know? And man, I hope I can get far enough, like, from this point onward that I can actually have a positive attitude in these vlogs, because, you know, I'm sure people are kind of, you know, wanting to see me be upbeat the way I was back when I was on my longest streak. Especially at that, like, high point, I think about um, 4 or 5 months in, I was at a sort of high point there, and I was feeling great, and you could definitely tell it. I mean, I look at the thumbnails, and I can definitely see that, you know, I was way more, like, you know, upbeat, and there was sort of a light to my, you know, to my appearance, and things of that nature. But, that's what I'm facing right now. And it's day 4, going into day 4, and I don't know, folks, I just having to try to keep myself as busy as I can, just like as undistracted as I can, as present in the moment as I can. I need to do way more prayers and meditation, because, you know, getting into a different topic, I'm planning on doing some evocations, and that's in part to address certain problems in life, and like these ones, for instance. And if I'm going to do that, I have to go through something of a purification process to get myself in the right state of mind to actually do that kind of stuff, because so much of that stuff does require, you know, if you're not in the right state of mind, things can get out of control. In part because you're dealing with a lot of psychological effects and so on. But I think taking a short little fast from Facebook and just mindless surfing of the net I'll have to make it, will help, excuse me, will help. I'll have to make it a point that, you know, I go to the engineering building, I go to the library, the only tabs I will have open are those related directly to my classwork, and that's it. And, got some organic chemistry too, exercises to do. Partially it's, you know, for a grade, partially it's for preparing for the exam. Then, let's see. And there's a homework for my industrial chemical calculations class, which is due Thursday, but I really need to start that today. Basically break it up in half and just work through it. What else? Because I need to get another video quiz, and then there's another homework for another class, and then some reading assignment. So I'll just have to keep myself busy and just be focused on that and let things drift by. And if the current girlfriend can't handle that, then that'll have to be her problem, and I'll deal with things as they are. But I really don't know, folks. Other than that, that's really my only real plan, is just keeping busy and productive, and just trying to move forward with stuff, because stagnation right now is really what's going to get to me. Stagnation will let me sit there and just think over and over and over again, and I'm at that point in my life where these kinds of problems are not, oh, I'm just horny, oh, I'm just bored. It's something else that I'm trying to deal with that's causing me immense amounts of emotional pain. And um, you know it's like the IFS model. I'm trying to put out the fire using PMO, and it's more like pouring gasoline on the fire, really. So I'm gonna end this video now. It's basically just an update video, and I wanted to do another one on just some philosophical thoughts I had on it's not just like Nofap, but it's broader than Nofap. But this is in the context of Nofap, given this is really a Nofap channel right now. So anywho, thanks for tuning in, and I'm really sorry if this is kind of a somber vlog. I'm just getting some stuff off my chest, because man, when I got up right before I started recording this, I had tears in my eyes. I was kind of breathing heavily. I was just really caught up in like the imagery in my mind's eye, and felt like I needed to almost like talk to someone, And I know I have some folks who, the 40 something subscribers who follow my content, especially the ones who have been commenting lately, like Alex, and there's a Con David, there's Giza, there's a bunch of them. But just wanted to get this off my chest to those who watch, those who comment, and in a sense have sort of a catharsis of sorts, an exorcism of my emotional state, or almost like my personal demons in a sense. So thanks, and see you folks around. Bye.